Hey everyone, Grand K for the Flame Learning channel. When it comes to working with elements such as lens flares, a lot of us are under big time constraints to get things done and don't really have time to build lens flares from scratch. Previous versions of Flame provided you with a range of lens flare presets, but the workflow to use these presets had the potential to disrupt any existing composites. Secondly, when it came to making your own presets, this was quite confusing for most. So the workflow has been revisited, and we'll cover the new lens flare presets workflow now available in the Flame 2017 products. If you wish to follow along, just create an action composite and use the 2-up view with Alt 2. So first off, go to the action node bin and add a light into the 3D composite. All lens flares use the light for 3D positioning information in 3D space. Next, ensure the light node is selected in the action schematic. Go back to the action node bin and drag out a lens flare node. This will automatically attach itself to the selected light. When you release the cursor, the lens flare will generate itself with the default settings. Now you can grab the various objects in the view and move the light around. So that's the standard lens flare with its various elements that are procedurally generated. If you're a long-time Flame artist using a previous version, you'll remember that you would go to this presets pull-down menu and choose a preset. Or you go to the action node bin and access the lens flare presets through the presets node. In both cases, the lens flare preset was a complete action setup that was amended to your existing composite, so it could potentially disrupt what you already had in your existing 3D environment. And because of this, these workflows are no longer recommended in Flame 2017. Instead, you now double-click on the lens flare node in the action schematic. Looking at the lens flare basics menu, you will find a dedicated presets section for loading and saving presets. Now, this is not just about moving buttons. The underlying mechanism for loading and saving lens flare presets has been redone. Let's load a preset, and we'll look at this in greater detail. Click the Load button. Now click the Autodesk directory. Here you will find the same lens flare presets as before, and they've all been converted to the new workflow. So you can choose between creative and real lenses. You can also switch to proxies mode to view the thumbnail. Just pick any one and press Load. So that appears to be no different to the last version of Flame. However, what was changed is that only the values in the lens flare node and anything connected to it are saved as the preset. We are not reloading an entire 3D scene as before, so the rest of the composite will always remain the same. Even the light's position coordinates and attributes will remain unchanged. So if I go to load another lens flare preset, the lens flare node and its textures are replaced, but my light with all its settings still remain the same. This should make it much easier to try out different presets when you need them. Now you could even customize them further and create new presets of your own. For example, you could select any of the lens texture elements and start changing their properties. So this adjusts the procedurally generated textures. Now let's say that you want to save this as one preset before experimenting further. Double-click on the lens flare node and under the presets header, click the Save button. Now before you save anything, I want to point out that lens flare presets are now saved in a shared lens flare directory by default. Going up 2 levels, you have the User Discrete Shared Presets Lens Flare directory. You could save in the Autodesk directory, but I prefer to save in a separate location. Let's call this My Preset A and press Enter. So our first preset is saved. Now let's keep customizing our lens flare. You adjusted the actual procedural textures earlier, but you can also use matchbox shaders to influence the look. For example, select any of the lens textures and switch to the Action bin menu. Switch to the Matchbox tab. Find the Color Correct node and drag that into the Action schematic. Now double-click on the Color Correct node and change the color. Let's add another Matchbox shader to the pipeline. Select the lens texture again and go back to the Action node bin. This time, add a Twirl Matchbox shader node to the pipeline. Double-click on the Twirl node and start changing its values. So that looks quite different to our first preset. Let's save this one. Double-click on the lens flare node and press Save. This one can be called My Preset B. Click Enter or press Save. Now we can keep making more customizations. And through the Matchbox texture grids, you can even use real flare and lens image textures for photorealism or creative purposes. These customizations will be covered in greater detail in an upcoming video. Focusing back on the concept of the lens flare presets, let's say you want to load the first preset that you made earlier. Click the Load button and choose the first preset in the file browser. When it is loaded, the lens flare is replaced as well as any connected nodes. So we're back to version 1. Move the light into a different position, and let's load the second lens flare preset. Once again, the lens flare node is replaced, and all the nodes connected to it, including Matchbox nodes, will be reloaded as part of the lens flare flow graph. Everything else in the 3D scene remains the same. As a final note on lens flare presets, it is now really easy to share your custom presets within your facility or even the Flame community. When you save a lens flare preset, Flame creates a set of files that can be copied and used on other workstations. The lens flare node, lens texture maps, Matchbox shaders, and even Matchbox texture shaders are packaged as part of the specific lens flare preset files. Just keep them all together in one directory and the lens flare preset should load correctly. So that covers the new lens flare preset workflow in the Flame 2017 products. Be sure to check out the other videos covering features, workflows, and updates to the Flame 2017 products. Comments, feedback, and suggestions are always welcome and appreciated. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to the Flame Learning channel for future videos.